No bike show would be complete without a stunt show. And before Craig Jones, the Buell and Harley stunt champion, took to the arena, Terry Grant entertained us with his four-wheeled antics. Don't forget, it might look like a car, but it does have a bike engine, honest. While Terry was getting in a spin, I was backstage talking to Craig Jones. Right, well, I'm with the reigning European stunt champion, Craig Jones, and bearing in mind the nature of this event, it's quite fortunate that he happens to ride Harley-Davidsons and Buells. That is, to say the least, a bit unusual. Most of the guys ride Japanese bikes. What's with the Harleys?
Well, it was just over 4 years ago, Steve. I was in Australia at the Formula One, and we rode some of the Buells. It was just a bit of a joke, you know. Take one of these Buells, do a wheelie, a stoppie, a burnout. We'll send a load of pics back to the guy that lent them to us, and he'll have a heart attack, you know. That was the funny side of things. But I actually liked the Buells, and I came back home, and the idea was, well, why don't I just approach Harley Davidson and Buell, and why don't I, you know, put the proposition to them? No one else was riding them at the time. Why don't I? And that's what I did. And very, very quickly we slotted into a great partnership. And some people, even some of the media, were saying, "How come you're on those, Craig? It's rather different and everything." And very, very quickly people began to realise that there's something in this. And now, 4 years later, well, I mean, this is where I am now. It's great. It's a great profession for me, and I know that Harley and Buell are very, very satisfied with what's happening.
It's a different crowd, though, to the normal bike show crowd, isn't it?
At these events it is. I mean, this is primarily hog members, and the hog members, of course, like to see the hogs being used. So I tend to bring out the FXDX, which is it's the Dynaglide. It's Harley Davidson's aggressive bike, you know. It's 300 kilograms. Well, so what's that then? That's about 2 R1s bolted together, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's got a 1700cc Screaming Eagle big bore kit, and what that means is it's got something like 80-something pounds per foot torque. It's a real monster, you know. And I just turn the throttle, back end kicks out, no problem. I mainly use the power of it, Steve, because it's got immense amount of power. It's real arm-wrenching power. And all I simply do is just a little bit of throttle, and I use the clutch. I actually dump the clutch, not aggressively, just it's throttle, clutch, it's the same action. And I can dictate exactly when the rear wheel will grip and lift the bike up, you know. It's the same with many, many bikes. Don't ever just twist the throttle and expect it to happen, because that's unpredictable, you know. And,
is it anything to do with speed? Because a lot of people think it is. I've seen you do them at walking speed, so it can't be anything to do with speed.
It's not to do with speed, no. It's a lot of people with a lot of the modern superbikes, for instance, will just turn the throttle, and the power is so progressive and so perfect that you'll be reaching 50, 60 mile an hour in the front end and just lift up. It's beautiful, you know. With the Harleys, I tend to use the torque, okay? Which means it's just very, very slowly, just literally, bit of throttle, bit of clutch, bang, straight up onto the back wheel, back it off on the rear brake, and then I'm just talking and messing around to the crowd and whatever, like it's nothing.
So do you think that people, because these guys actually ride these bikes, they acknowledge how difficult the stuff that you're doing is, much more so than a regular crowd?
I think, I mean, we've discussed in the past, haven't we, at times where we look at other riders, when we were working on the championship video, for instance, and we looked at the way some of the other riders were so smooth, you know, the Brazilian guys and everything were so smooth, but you've got to have some aggression. And I tend to keep the aggression in there. Yeah, I'm smooth and everything, but sometimes I put an out of control element in there, you know, and I'm like this to the crowd, bang, 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 you know, as if, whoa, I nearly had a heart attack then, but I didn't. It's like people think he was really on the ragged edge there, and that's what the wow factor is, that's what the entertainment's all about.
And of course you've got your co-pilot as well, haven't you, which is an added element to the show, something that you do.
Yeah, I mean, Wing is, he's about 8 stone. He's still a bloke, but he's a little bloke, you know, and I put him on the front, I put him on the back, and we do some mad things together. It is difficult, and once again, it's another added element, it's another wow factor. It's like, not only can I do this with myself, I'll put a guy and I'll repeat everything you've just seen with two people on. And some of the wild things that we do, like we scrape his head, he hangs off the front, I stand it on the front wheel as a stopper, scrape his head down the road. I mean,
would you do that?
I wouldn't even trust myself. I don't know what he's doing on the front of it, but it works. It's a good partnership, the pair of us. We pull it off, and people just say that's just amazing. And that's, you know, I think that's what won me the title, to be honest, this year.